What up, y'all? So, can I share with y'all the real reason why relationships do not work out? Okay, and I'm not just talking about marriage or, romantic relationships. I'm talking about business relationships, friendships, parent child dynamics, family dynamics, business. I think I said that already, but y'all get the point. It could be ministry. The real reason why relationships do not work out is because it goes all the way back down to the individual. You, as an individual, I don't care if you got a twin, right? You are still ultimately an individual. You have to be accountable and responsible for your own growth. You got to do your own work, and you got to look in the mirror and face your own stuff. Period. The good, the bad, the ugly. You got to face the hurt that people did to you, and you got to face the hurt that you've caused other people. Period. Period, period, period. And that's the problem. People don't want to process pain. You cannot avoid pain. Pain is inevitable, right? And so a lot of times we become, and I'll be transparent and say I used to avoid tough conversations. I didn't want to communicate really. I didn't want to have those hard conversations with people, right? Whether I was right or wrong, because sometimes you do have to approach the person, right, who hurt you, like, hey, you said this or you did this and it was really hurtful, right? And then on the flip side, sometimes you gonna be the person where you gotta apologize, right? And you can't wait for the other person to come to you and say something. Or they might come to you and be like, hey, you said this and I didn't really like it, right? And you gotta own that, right? Even if it wasn't your intentions. I mean, there's so many different scenarios, right? So communication is very important, right? And I've even heard, they'll say communication is key. You hear that stuff, right? But a lot of times when people talk about communication being key, they're talking about you and another person communicating. But it's deeper than that. It's because how, and I'm going to tell you why it's deeper than that. Because how many times have you actually tried to communicate with somebody, right? And they was even willing to talk, right? But then you realize you wasn't really getting through to them, right? Or because I've been this person where I've been the person where somebody have said the same thing to me multiple times, and they were starting to become perplexed and confused, like, why is okay, but her behavior is not changing, right? Like, I'm gonna just be real, right? I've been that person where people just like, I just don't understand what's the problem. Like, why you keep doing the same thing? Like, why do we keep having this same conversation, right? And so but this is the thing though, it goes deeper than just communicating, right? Because if you were dealing with your own stuff, like for real, you will be able to have a conversation one time and it would be squashed. And I'm talking like for real squash, not that for fake squashed. Like, okay, well, we talked about it. And, right, here's the thing, you have to. It's imperative to deal with your own stuff. That's where healing comes in at, right? And that's something I had just come to. I've been on this healing thing for a minute. Like, I'm talking like over a year. Well, really years plural, but I've really been preaching this heavily to people, like, you need to heal, you got to heal, you got to heal. And I've been actually doing the work, but I've actually gotten down like to the root of that work, right? Because healing is a journey. So when you have a relationship dynamic, right, and if it fails, right, if y'all supposed to work, if the relationship is supposed to continue on, but unfortunately it fails for whatever reason, it goes back to that individual thing. You have to do your individual work, and you have to deal with stuff in your past, present, and you got to keep going, because doing the work, and I used to hate that word work, like, do the work, but I didn't like that. And I had to confess that to God. Like, I don't like that word work. I don't like the sound of that, right? But this is why the Bible says, cast your cares upon God, for he cares for you. So you got to come to the face, in his face, and tell him all the nasty stuff, right? It's not because, yeah, he already knows it, but it's something liberating about confessing that out of your mouth and saying, like, God, I feel like this, or I feel like you did this, right? Because a lot of us are mad at God about stuff, right? And you so religious, you can't admit it. You gotta admit stuff. You gotta deal with the pain that others caused you and talk about how it made you feel. You know what I'm saying? And then you gotta reflect, like, ooh, I remember when I said this to so and so. I should have never said that. Ooh, I might have to go apologize to so and so. You know what I mean? So it all any if you any relationship that you really want to work out and value, you got to deal with your own stuff. And sometimes other people haven't come to that place yet. People, unfortunately, everybody has not come to that place where they want to do their own work, right? And so you be like, dang, you got a homegirl, you've been friends with her for years, and then all of a sudden she just stopped talking to you, right? Usually, because she didn't want to do the work, her own, it's stuff that people don't want to work out in their own life. So before y'all try to get marriage counseling and family therapy and all of that kind of stuff, um, I'm not against those things at all. But at the end of the day, you got to do your own individual work, right? And then we can kind of talk about doing this family counseling and marriage counseling, right? And I'm gonna tell you this, I know people who are counselors, like by profession, and they have halted marriage counseling sessions because they like, this is not a marriage counseling problem. Y'all need to go to your own therapy sessions by yourself, because this stuff, these problems that keep arising in your marriage is stuff that happened before y'all even knew each other, or before, outside of one another. Y'all have to deal with that first, flat out. And so, yeah, so that's just something I want to come on here and share with you guys. And I just, pray that you guys really receive this and really think about these things and encourage others as well. Because I promise you, whatever it is that you endure or whatever it is that you go through in life, you can overcome it. And a lot of times people they don't deal with their stuff, right? Because people don't want to face themselves, right? But God can take care of all of that. There's no sin, there's no thing that anybody can do that's so just wicked and evil that it can't be restored and redeemed. Right? You just got to go past the fear of not trying to, just trying to look good and trying to, keep up this image, right? You got to move past that and allow God to transform you. And I guarantee if more people dealt with their individual selves, relationships would, because problems are going to rise, but more relationships will be successful if people were willing to do their own individual work. So that's all I got. Peace.